Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure. All Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The best way to contact me is through Discord. This is my contact information. Again, the best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel, which I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is at Doug Pless. And just a reminder, on YouTube, I am streaming at 1080p today, right now. I just had to change mine. The screen was kind of blurry, and I upped it to 1080p. So if you're having any problems with screen resolution on YouTube, you can go and click the gear, change your settings, and you can change it to 1080p. All right, so again, here's my contact information on Discord, Doug P. All right, the focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range, the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step of my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be talking about setups in an underlying asset. For example, the S&P 500 setups can be taken with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel and Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And hello, Don. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, here's my agenda for today, Tuesday, November 7th. First of all, I want to go over news items for today and for the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. And then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's start with news. So really today there was nothing, and it's also a pretty light week, except for a number of Fed speakers, and highlighted by Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow before the cash open. He speaks at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, and then he speaks again on Thursday at 2 p.m. And then finally Friday, the only higher impact economic data release for the week is consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. All right, so that's the week. Really, the focus is on Fed speakers, especially Jerome Powell. All right, let's take a look at the positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES futures and Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a look at a larger time frame. I'm going to go to the SPX. This is a 30-day 1-hour chart. Let me point out the key levels and key turning points on this chart. So first of all, this is the October jobs report. On October 6th, gamma squeeze after that, and then price found resistance right around 43.90, right around where SPX is right now. And there were, I guess, several factors in play: the treasury yields and war in the Middle East. Price moved lower, and the next turning point, potential turning point, was the October expiration, and that was a very negative gamma put dominated expiration. The expectation was for a put Vanna rally, which is typical of a negative gamma put dominated expiration. As those puts expire, market makers can buy back short futures. That really only happened for a couple of days. Price continued lower, and then last Friday, Friday before last, traders loaded up on puts, concerned about weekend risk, and apparently there was nothing that happened in traders' minds that would justify those puts, and VIX quickly dropped, and leading to a huge put Vanna rally that began on Monday the 30th, October 30th. SPX went straight up and now appears to be finding resistance again at around the 43.90 level. And the gamma notional for the SPX has shifted from very negative down here, gradually decreasing until it is became positive on last Friday, the Friday of the jobs report. All right, let me point out the key levels on this chart. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. That's based on the options market. That changes once a week. And then the next levels I want to point out are the lower and upper daily expected move. And that is also based on the options market. That changes every day. All right, there are also some spot gamma levels on this chart. These are, I'm going to point out the key daily levels. These are spot gamma proprietary levels based on gamma weighted open interest. Excuse me. The first is the put wall down here at 4,000. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support, and that is well out of play for today. All right, the next level up is 43.45. That's the volatility trigger, and that is spot gamma's proprietary gamma flip level, or really a volatility trip level. And below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. On the other hand, like SPX is trading right now, as I mentioned, in a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. All right, the next level up is 4,400. That's right here. That is the absolute gamma strike. That's the strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. That's also the call wall. That's the strike with the largest net positive gamma, and that can be expected to act as resistance. So that level is definitely in play for today. All right, so those are the key daily levels, also the expected move. All right, let's take a look now at a shorter time frame. I'm going to go to a one-day chart for SPX. Zoom in just a little bit. So this combo L3 level has been in play for today. That's at 43.84. Resistance, maybe resistance again. Just above that is the upper daily expected move for SPX. All right, so those are the Spotgamma levels in play for today, mainly this combo L3 level, as well as the upper daily expected move. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap now. So in Bookmap, I have my own cloud notes, so I can show SPX levels and SPY levels and any other levels. Excuse me, all in one column here. All right, so I have SPX levels. Here's that C3 level. And just above that, 43.76. Oops, I think I pointed out the wrong level. So anyway, those are SPX levels. Here is the SPX 43.50 that was noted as support. In the Spotgamma AM Founders node, it did its job. And then right at the cash open, this is the SPY 435 level. That is the absolute gamma strike for SPY, as well as the zero gamma level. So I have SPY levels, SPX levels, also big round numbers for ES, and there's the upper daily expected move for ES. All right, note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. And today it's right around 17 points, and that's what I'm using. So SPX 43.50, for example, is shown at ES 43.67. So ES minus SPX is 17 points. All right, so again, the key levels in play, 43.50 support, then right around the cash open, around the 435 level, support, also VWAP, and then a deeper pullback to VWAP again, as well as 436, SPY 436, large gamma 2 level. And we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. All right, shifts in levels for the S&P 500. The volatility trigger for SPX did shift higher slightly from 43.35 to 45. The volatility for SPY shifted lower. And also the absolute gamma strike for SPY shifted higher. And that's shown here. Some minor shifts in levels for the S&P 500 today. Nothing like yesterday, massive shifts higher in the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000 yesterday. All right, that's the S&P 500. Those are the levels in play for today. Minor shifts higher and lower in levels. Here's NASDAQ. It's been a very bullish day in the NASDAQ, led by large cap tech, Magnificent 7 stocks. All right, let's take a look first of all at QQQ so we can isolate QQQ levels. So here's a one-day chart for QQQ. Round number levels somewhat in play for today. Note QQQ is trading well above its volatility trigger. And earlier, the 373 level did act somewhat as resistance. Now, QQQ trading above that level. All right, let's take a look at NDX. Last time I looked, there were really no gamma levels in play for today. So there was a kind of an odd consolidation of the spot gamma levels for NASDAQ at 15, NDX at 15,070 and 75, or mostly 15,070. That's the put wall, call wall, and absolute gamma strike, all shifted higher to 15,070, and the volatility trigger 5 points higher. So all the levels for NDX shifted higher, kind of odd shifts, and for QQQ, the absolute gamma strike shifted higher to 370. Let's go back to NQ futures and Bookmap. Very bullish day. QQQ 369 as well as VWAP acting as support earlier today. Quick move up until about 11 a.m. and then consolidation. And again, we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. Note that NQ is trading above its upper daily expected move and maybe shortly testing its upper weekly expected move. All right, let's take a look at gamma notional to see how market makers were positioned on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. So what I'm looking at, this is gamma notional for SPX, SPY, NDX, QQQ, RUT, and IWM. Note that gamma notional for SPX remains positive, and this is slightly lower than yesterday. Yeah, it was 498 yesterday, so slightly lower today to 478. And then on the other hand, for SPY, gamma notional still negative, but shifted higher, less negative than yesterday. And then for QQQ, gamma notional slightly negative. That's really mostly neutral, shifted slightly higher from yesterday. And also for IWM, still negative and shifted lower than yesterday. So mixed signals for the gamma notional, but the thing to note is really positive for SPX and really pretty close to neutral for SPY and QQQ. All right, let's take a look at the Vanna model now and see what this means in a graphical representation. I'm going to start with SPX. This chart is showing market makers' delta notion, that's their delta exposure on the vertical axis against price for SPX on the horizontal axis. There are two curves on this chart. The first curve, the light gray curve, shows how market makers' delta notional changes with changes in price only. And the purple curve adds implied volatility to the equation. That shows how market makers' delta notional changes with changes in price and implied volatility. And remember, market makers want to remain delta neutral. I'm talking about options market makers. And their job is to make markets and manage their risk. All right, so let's take a look at price for SPX right now. Right now, SPX is trading right around 43.84. So that's somewhere between these two lines. So this is indicating that as price increases, market makers' delta notional will increase, and they will have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. Again, remember, they always want to remain delta neutral. So when their delta notional is increasing, they have to sell futures. And if price drops, they can buy back their short futures. So they're trading against price in this positive gamma environment. Also, if price starts to drop, market makers will have to sell futures as well. So at this point in this bottom trough of this gamma curve, Vanna model, market makers are going to be trading against price either direction. So there's a headwind from this Vanna model in either direction. All right, so that is SPX. Let's take a look at SPY now. Very similar curve, slightly shifted towards a more negative gamma curve. Let's see where SPY is trading right now, 437. Also near the bottom of this trough. So if price continues to move up, market makers will have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. Price moves down, they'll have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. Finally, let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ right now trading right around 373. So on this upward sloping portion of the Vanna model here, indicating as price continues to increase, market makers' delta notional will increase, and they'll have to sell NQ futures to hedge their delta exposure. Now, one thing to note, according to the levels, the call wall for QQQ is at 380. It has remained at that level for quite a while. So according to the levels, there is room to run up to 380 for QQQ. All right, so that is the Vanna model. So based on this, my thesis for the day was looking for lower volatility and directional bias, generally looking for a more of a range day, lower mean reversion type of day. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And past 29.10 says he's closing a short position with huge loss. And yeah, my iron condors and strangles have not been doing well lately. Trying to manage those. All right, so let's take a look at some setups now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. And I want to see what options traders are doing. This is the hero signal available from Spotgamma to Spotgamma subscribers. What this chart is showing is the hero signal, hedging impact real-time options. There are two lines on this chart. The first, the white line, is showing price for SPX. The purple line is showing the hero signal, and that is showing options trades, market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, all into one combined signal. All right, let's zoom in on this chart. So really the key for the day, I want to focus on setups now, was this reversal higher right around 940. Initially, price moved lower, traders were taking negative delta positions, and then quickly reversed higher. Traders started taking positive delta positions. There was a pullback. Traders continued to take positive delta positions. Notice options traders took their foot off the gas, price consolidated, moved lower, and then started to move higher again around 1230. as traders resume taking positive delta positions. So very strong correlation today between options trades, market maker hedging activity, and price action in the S&P 500. We'll slice and dice this a little bit more in just a moment. Let's go to Bookmap now. So again, a very bullish day. Here's the initial long setup. You can see the shift in order flow watching the volume dots. The volume dots are showing market buy minus sell. Magenta dots are showing more aggressive sellers. They're more sellers than buyers. And that shifts to green volume dots showing more buyers than sellers. That's pretty typical of this V reversal. Price consolidates right around VWAP, that's shown by this light blue line. Also point of control, that's shown by the purple line, as well as the SPY 435 absolute gamma strike, and then moves higher. There was that pullback that I talked about, and then the deeper pullback around 1230 down to 436, almost a VWAP again. Aggressive buyers start to come in as options traders started taking positive delta positions, and then price resumes the uptrend. So there's the read of the long setup today in both Hero, very good signal in Hero, as well as the order flow in Bookmap. And note the rise and fall of CVD. That's shown by the dark blue line, rising cumulative volume delta, levels off, drops, then starts to rise again. Also giving a good directional signal. All right, so that's the S&P 500. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. And past 2910, you're welcome. All right, NASDAQ trying to break out above the NQ 400 level. Let's take a look first of all at Hero to see what options traders were doing. I'll come back to this and slice and dice it in a minute. We can see what zero DTE traders put on puts and calls. Let's go to NASDAQ now. So this is a combined signal of NDX and QQQ, showing a very similar pattern to the S&P 500. Sharp move higher in Hero, price responds, consolidation, drop, pullback in price. Options traders started taking positive delta positions again. They take their foot off the gas, price consolidates. Then they start taking positive delta positions again, and price moves higher. About the same time as the S&P 500, 940 initial entry, 1010 secondary entry, and 1230 another entry. Let's go back to Bookmap. Here's the initial entry. Notice the very clear shift in order flow. Magenta dots, aggressive sellers. Large green volume dots at the cash open. Pullback. And then here was the 1230 pullback. And here the upper daily expected move acting as support. All right, let's take a look at one other Hero signal that provides a lot of great information, especially for the NASDAQ. and that's this new hero signal for the Magnificent Seven, and that is also a combined signal for these stocks known as the Magnificent Seven: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. What this chart is showing is traders have been buying calls in these stocks today. That's shown by the rising orange line, the positive notional value there. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, so this is also a great signal to take a look at for the NASDAQ, since these stocks make up such a large portion of the NASDAQ 100. All right, so that's those are the setups in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. I want to circle back to the S&P 500 now, so we can take a closer look at what traders are doing today. So first of all, I'm going to take a look at puts and calls. So today, traders are buying calls, as shown by the rising orange line. They're also buying puts. That's shown by the falling blue line, the negative notional value there. Today, the call buyer is much more aggressive, and that's what is helping to drive price higher. Again, when traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy, in this case, futures to hedge their delta exposure. All right, sorry about that. Just note that Spotgamma is working on this issue, this auto zoom issue. Hopefully it'll be resolved soon. All right, let's take a look at one other thing. I want to take a look at next expiry. So this chart, this next expiry, is showing options trades that expire today. So that is for the SPX. The SPX, SPY, ES all have options that expire every day. So in this case, next expiry would be the 0 DTE, the options that expire today. And it looks like there was a very strong correlation between all expirations, all trades, all expirations, and the 0 DTE up until about 1 o'clock. Indicating the 0 DTE trades up to that time were making a large portion, making up a large portion of the total notional value, and then those lines separated right around 1 p.m. and traders started taking positions in longer term expirations. So that could be anything from tomorrow to next year. All right, let's turn that off. All right, let's take a look at some stocks now. All right, so just, I don't know if anyone remembers, yesterday I pointed out all the red in this level, this area. All these signals were red during my webinar. Just the opposite today. Most of them are green. So really you can just pick your trade. And this is mostly large cap tech stocks, the Magnificent Seven. So I'm just going to pick out a few that I watched earlier today. First of all, here's Microsoft. Note 360 is the call wall. All right, let's zoom in on this. Point out a couple things. So again, the call wall right here at 360, that's also the key gamma strike. That line, there's a light blue line that may be difficult to see. I'll draw the red over and top of it. That's around the 360 level. So there was a breach of the call wall. Note also the timely flow alerts. And traders were taking positive delta positions. Let's take a look. So this morning they were buying calls, shown by the rising orange line. And then they took their foot off the gas and price leveled off. That's a very typical pattern. That occurs anywhere from typically 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So in this case, around 11, traders took their foot off the gas. They stopped buying calls and price consolidated. One other thing about this call wall breach, that call wall is indicating the greatest amount of call gamma or put gamma. This is when for stocks, Spotgamma assumes that traders are buying calls, market makers sell the calls. As those calls at that level go in the money, as price increases above that level, market makers, those calls are gaining in delta. As they go in the money, delta is increasing, and market makers will have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, so that is Microsoft, very bullish day. Let's zoom out now. So Microsoft consolidating just around 362 now. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Microsoft. And Microsoft has been crazy strong. It rallied sharply during that Put-Vanna rally week. All right, so there's Microsoft. Again, remember 360 call wall, key gamma strike. Note the liquidity at this level. There were sellers at that level. And price sliced right through it as that call wall breach. Those calls went in the money. All right, so that's Microsoft, another bullish day. All right, the next is NVIDIA. All right, let me check for questions. All right, past 29.10 says, I've never seen a no-day pullback. A few points in a week. Yeah, this rally has been very strong. I think, CNBC reports the number of days NASDAQ has risen. I think this may be number 8, 8 up days in a row, I believe, for NASDAQ. All right, here's NVIDIA. Another strong day in NVIDIA. And for NVIDIA, 460 is the call wall. And after jumping up to that level, NVIDIA has traded up and down around that level, and now it looks like it is moving higher. Note all the green volume dots, a lot of aggressive buyers in here. Also note just like Microsoft, the liquidity at the call wall level. There were sellers at that point, and NVIDIA just sliced right through that. All right, let's go take a look at Hero for NVIDIA, see what options traders have been doing. All right, Sparky asks, sorry if you already said this, but I was late for webinar. Did we bounce off any gamma levels around 940, or was it just buying at VWAP? All right, so first of all, what is we? I'm not sure what we means. And also, what could you be more specific about the level? So Sparky, I'll be glad to answer your question. Just please, if you would be a little bit more specific. All right, so here's the hero chart for NVIDIA. 460 call wall. Very strong correlation between options trades, market maker hedging activity, and price action. Sharp reversal there. All right, Sparky, I'll get back to NQ in a few minutes. All right, so in the case of NVIDIA, price is mostly consolidated around the call wall level. Let's see what traders are doing. Last time I checked, they were trading puts and calls. So they are selling puts and buying calls, shown by the rising blue line and the rising orange line. And it looks like the put sellers are more aggressive. So in either case, when traders take positive delta positions, market makers take the opposite side of that, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, the next is Tesla. All right, it's finally good to see a bullish day in Tesla here. $220, the key gamma strike. Call wall up at 225. And as usual, there's a very strong correlation between options trades, market maker hedging activity, and price action in Tesla. Let's see what traders are doing. So Tesla, they are buying calls and selling puts, shown by the rising orange and blue lines. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Tesla. Tone down these volume dots just a little bit. Choppy morning session, but really resolving higher. Making more of a clear uptrend starting around 1 o'clock. A lot of aggressive buyers. You can see the green volume dots. So traders are taking positive delta options positions. They're also buying, outright buying stock, market buy orders. Note the liquidity at the key level. 220 key gamma strike. Those were market sell orders. I'm sorry, limit sell orders. All right, Pass. Thanks for attending. Thanks for watching. I hope things go better for you. Yeah, I would like to see some two-way trade. That I think that would help everybody. So take care. Have a great afternoon, and hope to see you tomorrow. All right, so bullish day in Tesla. Price continues to move higher. All right, let's Sparky. Let's go check NASDAQ now. All right, so Sparky was asking about this reversal higher at 940. And it was at VWAP, light blue line, as well as QQQ 369. So a confluence of two levels there acting as support. And again, I talked about the shift from bearish order flow, magenta volume dots, to green volume dots, aggressive sellers on the way down, aggressive buyers on the way up, as traders were taking positive delta positions both in the NDX QQQ as well as the Magnificent 7. All right, so Sparky, there you go. All right, so it looks like now NQ is still having trouble making it above the 400 level. Let's check the S&P 500 now. Also consolidating around previous resistance, just below the upper daily expected move. Let's go back and check Hero now. Go to the S&P 500. And you're welcome, Sparky. All right, so it looks like the Hero signal may be leveling off now. Let's check NASDAQ. Also leveling off a bit. Magnificent 7 still sloping up, but not nearly as steeply rising, not nearly as steeply as it was around 1230 to 115, something like that, but still continues to move higher. All right, so that's definitely what's driving price today in the S&P 500. Let's just take a look at this heat map. So these, big, huge, large cap tech stocks definitely driving price today. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Google, Meta, Amazon, and even Tesla participating today. And it looks like most of the other sectors are weak, especially energy. All right, any questions? Anybody does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, we can check for alerts. Here's one for Tesla. That came in just after 1 p.m. Shown right here. S&P 500. I'm going to scan through some stocks. All right, 2-minute ask, are option buyers still buying calls in Tesla? All right, let's go to Tesla. Looks like they are. Call buyers definitely driving price today in Tesla, as well as put sellers. Call buyers a little bit more aggressive. So the dip buyers coming in on Tesla today. All right, we can go through Bookmaps and check some of these stocks. Apple, Bullish day in Apple as well. AMD. Note the shift in order flow here. A lot of aggressive buyers, green volume dots on the way up. Then a lot of magenta volume dots start to come in. A lot of aggressive sellers up around 114, 114.50. Price moves lower. All right, let's see what options traders are doing in AMD. So here's our very typical pattern. Options traders take their foot off the gas. Price consolidates, moves lower. Looks like call buyers definitely driving price in AMD today. Take a look at Amazon. Amazon trading well above its call wall at 140. That's also the key gamma strike. And I think those levels have been in place for several days. So Amazon trading well above its call wall. We'll see what traders are doing. So net for the day, earlier into the day, traders were buying calls, driving price higher. Yeah, I knew that would happen. Sorry. So earlier in the day, traders were aggressively buying calls. They were also buying puts, but call buyers definitely driving price. Around 11:45, they take their foot off the gas. Price levels off. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Amazon. Remember, 140 is the call wall, key gamma strike. Amazon trading well above that level. Google looks like it found support of the key gamma strike. Maybe trying to get up to its call wall at 132. Bullish day in Meta. Let's see what traders are doing. So buying calls. Call buyers came in around 1010. That was that reversal, first pullback for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ right around 1010. Traders started buying calls again. And Meta zoomed higher. Took their foot off the gas around 11. Sorry about that. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Meta. All right, consolidating around 320 as options traders have taken their foot off the gas. And we haven't looked at Netflix today. Let's take a look at Netflix. Looks like Netflix is almost unchanged for the day. At least it's trading right around the opening print at 436. Really no pre-market trade in Netflix. Let's go take a look at Hero and see what options traders are doing. There's the 10-10 pullback. Looks like price started moving higher before options traders joined the party. So mainly put sellers. So net traders are selling puts, shown by the rising blue line. Positive notion of value. They're also selling calls, shown by the falling orange line. Negative notion of value, so they're selling premium, but primarily selling puts, helping to drive price higher. And once again, this consolidation pattern, this looks like for Netflix, happened around 11:30. Options traders took their foot off the gas, price consolidates. So pullback opportunities in the morning and then start to take profits around 11:30 to 12 and price consolidates. All right, let's take one last look at the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. All right, options traders continue to take positive delta positions. Looks like price is still stuck. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Still consolidating around 4,400. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. And NASDAQ still consolidating around NQ 400. All right, so pretty typical trend day. The move is in the morning, and price starts to consolidate around 11 to 12. There may be a move in this afternoon. Continuation of the trend. For the S&P 500 CVD, higher. Looks like large traders are fading this move with iceberg orders. They use to hide their size, shown by the falling blue line on the subchart. Large iceberg orders. Traders selling, large traders. That's pretty typical. Large traders will sell strength, buy weakness. The stop line, the yellow line, has pretty much leveled off. And as we just saw, the hero line continues to trend higher. So options traders continue to take positive delta positions. All right, so far for the S&P 500, still looking bullish. And looks like now the S&P 500 may be trying to break out above this consolidation level. All right, my time is up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. And remember, Jerome Powell will be speaking tomorrow morning before the cash open at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. So that could potentially be a market mover. And we'll talk about it tomorrow afternoon. All right, thanks again, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.